Hello, welcome to day 7. I have a quote to share today, which is not my quote, it's from Tony Robbins. And I know there's a lot of conversation on the internet about Tony Robbins. So rather than go into all of that, I'm simply going to take the quote and play around with it. Because fundamentally, despite the other things that may surround him and his business, this quote, I think, has such a transferable energy in the way that you can use it for so many different areas of life. And the quote is, where focus goes, energy flows. And this is a perfect quote for this time of year. Because I know for most years, my achievement list or things that I want to do, change, shift, tweak, etc. is so flipping long, it feels almost out of reach. And this is a really juicy one for me because firstly, I'm asking myself, why is that happening? Why am I trying to do all of the things immediately? And why am I not being focused on the stuff that really works? And secondly, I guess the more kind of version of that with myself is really taking some time to work out how I can work with my personality. So here is, I guess, my response when I'm working through this. I am somebody that loves having a portfolio career. I love that each week is different. I get inspired and lit up by doing lots of different things. And that is the way that I think, in my opinion, really, really excel. So I have to, within that, make sure that I build that to the best of my ability. So if I was starting every week like, hi, I've got all these sorts of things and there's no kind of plan or things like that. Like sometimes you might watch somebody cook, and I'm not saying that I'm the perfect cook, but like there might be things that need to go in the oven, stuff that needs to come up out of the oven, something's boiling over there, something needs to be brought in because somehow it's outside, something's gone out wrong. We've all been in those chaotic kitchens. And even though on one hand you might be like, oh, look at all this amazing food, because it's full of chaos, you might not get to appreciate all the elements. And I know sometimes I've had those weeks when I've been all the things to all the people. And I've been trying to keep everything spinning at a rate. And I was actually saying to a friend of mine, hi Alex, if you're listening, that when Matt is away, my instinct is to suddenly feel like I have to go into super mum. Like, don't worry, daddy's away, but I'm going to do all the things. Where are we going to go? What are we going to see? Let's experience this. And if he is away for, well, certainly more than a week, I know by about day 8, I am on burnout. Like it's a lot, getting up in the night, getting up early with the kids. They feel it, I feel it. And then it just all ends in being like, oh, wow, this all feels really hard. And I know lots of people do that all of the time. And, my goodness, it's not easy doing all of the things. That is for sure. But what I've realized is, if I want to specifically grow something, I have to give it some focus. I can't automatically assume that it'll just be fine and it'll just organically do its thing. You have to water it. You have to, like a plant, you have to water it. You have to give it sunlight. You have to put it in a good position and put it in an environment where it's going to thrive. And so my question for you this day, the 7th of January, is where are you going to put your energy? What do you want to see grow? And I want you to be very audacious with that answer. And you don't have to share it with everybody or anybody or anything like that. But what would be an ideal version for you in order to move forward, where you're like, whoa, I did that. Oh, that was cool. Oh, I wasn't expecting that. That feels like a result. Because when you get clear on what it is you're actually trying to build, you'll begin to take some steps to actually do that. And I think sometimes we can all be in this sort of 50% in the middle, kind of like, oh, I'm just seeing what happens, la, 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 being quite casual about things because we don't want to be too forceful or pushy or aggressive or any of those words that are somehow seen as negative. And lots of the times they are negative. But sometimes it's about replacing those words and sometimes it's me looking at like, I'm actively going to work on my health this year. I'm proactively going to do X, Y, and Z. I'm going to put something up my priority list. I'm going to take this seriously. Like I've had that with friends and family when they've had a health diagnosis where they're like, I need to take this seriously. I need to give it some love, give it some attention, give it some focus. And I think what I want to say is that don't just assume that there'll be a perfect time in the future when that will happen. You can begin now. You can put your line in the sand and say, okay, this is the finishing line I am going for, or this is my next mini goal. I want you to play around with that and see how it changes things. See how it changes your pace, your commitment, your focus, your attention, and ultimately your results. See what goes down. All right, that's it for today. I will see you tomorrow for day 8. Come on over to my website if you haven't already, nickyraby.com. See you then. Bye.